Welcome to the First 40 Sports Show with the Goon Squad. It's Black Thor, Icewater, and Puma. And we're going to go straight to the NBA Finals. Of course, Miami advances after 7 games. Denver is already sitting there looking pretty, waiting for the next opponent. Going to go with Black first. What's your eye test on the Eastern and Western Conference Finals and the upcoming finals?
Eye test, I'm going to go right to Denver first, man, because I like how polished they are, how basically they don't even blink. They do what they have to do. Again, I'm amazed that of the lack of respect that they're receiving. And it's not to the point where it make any sense, because I don't understand where if you're an admirer of just good basketball play and what they're doing, how do you not speak on that? How do you not speak on that? Why are we speaking about it? I went to listen to Speak today. That's the only kind of sports show I really kind of pay attention to. But they're talking about what Golden State may do. All these teams that are out, they're talking about what they might do potentially, how they're going to get back, and this other type of stuff. And I'm like, you have one of the best teams I've seen fundamentally in a long time in the NBA playing, and probably one of the best players that's come along in a long time. And the Joker playing, and no one's talking about them. No one, man. I just don't get it. I don't understand. And as I was starting to think about it, part of me thinks, because there's no one on that team when you think about it has a lot of swagger, bro. And I think a lot of the media has become accustomed to seeing that BS all the time. The swagger, this and that, who's following you on social media, how many people you got following you. And I think they get locked into that and realize what is basically the fundamental of basketball, that's not important. That's not. So all that who can do what and go where, they lost me with that. And that's a lot of social media talk. But back to the series in general. Yeah, I watched after Miami lost game 4, I lost interest, bro. I did. I lost interest because I'm to the point now. At some point, and maybe because of my history with watching NBA, how do you basically at home at game 4 kind of really don't show up? I just don't get it. How you just? I mean, what are you playing for other than your paycheck at sometimes? And then of course, game 5 and 6, I checked off the score, and I literally thought game 7 was going to basically go to the Boston Celtics until I turned the TV on for the last quarter. And I'm sorry, man. If I'm owning the Boston Celtics, some people aren't getting their paychecks, bro. You're not getting your paychecks. You have to fight me, get your union behind or something, because at game 7, if you're home and you can't show up better than that mentally and physically, I don't hear it. And Tatum, damn your ankle, bro. I don't want to hear that. Wrap that son of a bitch up and go out there and play balls and play better than that. I'm tired of these young cats with all these excuses, load management, all this other stuff. You're making millions, and that's how you show up? A 3-show barrage, bang, 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 bang. So game 7 in your own house, you're going to lose by more than 20 points. 20 points. And they're going to blame the coach. Oh, yeah, he's not ready. Nah, it's not all that. The mentality of these players, man, are not ready. They're just not there. And guess what? We got another crop coming in with the draft soon that's not ready. But with the series, looking at the series, I think that Miami's going to be able to play some defense and kind of basically slow the Nuggets down. I don't see Miami beating the Nuggets in 4 games, man. I just don't. I just kind of really believe the Nuggets have it together this year. Their role players have basically stepped up. And I said this when Djokovic was out, when he was hurt earlier in the year, a latter part of the year. They learned with confidence when he wasn't there to step up and fill in the blanks. And that's what they did. And he's gotten to the point now where he knows when to kind of put his foot on the pedal and when to take it off. And you think about that, usually that's a more seasoned vet that does that. He's doing that at a very young, tender age. He lets the game kind of come to him and flow. And when he needs to kind of make his moves, here he comes. Now, if he could just stay out of foul trouble a little bit more, I'd be a little happier. But at the end of the day, man, I think it's Denver all the way. I'll give Miami a game or 2, but I don't see them. And I'll be surprised. I'd like to see it. I think Pat Riley's done an awesome job with that organization, awesome job putting that team together. And Spoelstra, for the most part, is underrated until you get to the playoffs. Somebody talks about him when it comes to being a head coach. But that cat can coach his ass off. So I would love to see it for Miami, but I just believe that Denver, basically, they've been on this path for a while, man. For the past 2 to 3 years, short of injuries, they've been kind of knocking at the door, getting ready. And I think this time they're going to kick the son of a bench in.
All right, give me your eye test, man.
Yeah, I'll start with Denver. Denver handled their business with the Lakers, swept them, older Laker team, or just a Laker team that didn't play defense. I mean, that's what I look at. I look at it from the standpoint of you have guys that were reserves, wide open for threes, and anybody in the NBA, if you're playing in the NBA, you should be able to hit an open 3-pointer. And I don't know if the Lakers, what was going on with that. They were checking only the so-called key guys. They weren't going out checking the other guys, and they just literally just didn't look well. People didn't show up. So it is what it is. So you move on, and Denver was able to sweep them, get them out the way, and now they have some rest. Looking at the East, you look at looking at Miami and Boston. As it was said earlier, the coach does not play. I think that it's almost as if those players needed motivation. And the coach, the previous coach, maybe he was able to move them or whatnot. But this coach is not a bad coach. You can just tell that he was maybe a little inexperienced, but still, as a player, you're supposed to step your game up. And I'm finally glad. And I usually don't watch the show, but I had to agree with somebody that said something on TV, and it blew me away because I think it's honest. I mean, coaches are great, but it's on the players. When Shaquille O'Neal said, and I know I ain't trying to ruffle no feathers because y'all know what I'm talking about, what I'm about to say. When Shaquille O'Neal said, when you are 0 for 10, start out 0 for 10 shooting 3-pointers, it's time to start going to the hole, understanding that, doing something else with the basketball. You can say you're a shooter, you can say you're a scorer, but when you are 0 for 10 and you've been struggling the last 3 games in percentage-wise from 3-point line, somebody needs to make a change. Or I don't know if the coaches should make a call timeout, say, here's our different game plan, we need to go to the hole. And if the coach doesn't do it, it's on the players. I said that before, somebody thought I was crazy. The shooters just keep shooting, okay? Shooters make you lose too. And with Boston, and I love what Shaquille O'Neal said. He says, and that was me, and they keep shooting. I tell the next person to shoot 3-point, I'm punching them in the face. I mean, and you just got to be smart with it. I mean, I'm not saying you should, I'm advocating violence, but you got to say, wake up, man. We're going to win this game. You got to be smarter. Basketball is about being smart. It's not always the best team or the team that's the most talented that wins, or all of the money, or even the best coaches. It's about being smarter. And that's why teams that play as teams oftentimes win. There are some exceptions where you see teams that are just naturally just more talented than another team, and they just beat them because they can compete. But if you're smart, you can usually hang into the series. But moving on to the finals, I mean, you can take nothing from Denver. Like I said from the beginning, the one thing that I was surprised by, I needed to see, and they've done it, is their reserves and the supporting cast. They stepped up, done a lot of hungry guys over there. Guys like Brown that was at Brooklyn, got pushed on, moved on. You got him there. Even Green, Jeff Green's been waiting a long time to try to win some ball games from that standpoint too. And they just keep going. And then of course you added the Joker, you added Murray, and you even have Michael Porter Jr. at times, and Gordon. Gordon has been waiting a long time to try to win some ball games. So you have a lot of hungry individuals over there. So the coach Malone is really solid too. He's really good at Sacramento. I don't know what the hell they were thinking when they let him go, but it all worked out for the better. But he was doing good things over in Sacramento before he ended up in Denver. So they're solid. They're very solid. They're playing well, with a lot of great chemistry right now. And then you have it where you have Boston and you have Miami. I mean, you have Boston losing and Miami stepped up. And what I find ironic about it, I'm not gonna beat it till it come home, but
yes, you are.
you get the games. You in Game 6, and Boston got away with one. They know they did. In Game 7, their team did not come prepared mentally to play, and that's just on the players. Maybe they need to make a change. But Miami found a way to get it done, and everybody was hurt. Jimmy Butler had a bad ankle. I mean, as much as you say Boston's guy had a bad ankle, everybody was hurt. People getting punched, hit punched and hit in the face, all kinds of stuff. But Miami came together. And what they showed me was they were resilient and they played hard. Where instead of Jimmy Butler trying to score 49 that last game, he saw Martin was really putting the ball in the hole, so he fed him. But when they needed a key bucket, despite his sore ankle and whatever, Jimmy Butler came down and said, I'm about to get this bucket. We need this bucket right now. It was a right now moment. Some people didn't see that because if you don't score 49 or 39 points, they don't think you're playing good basketball. but he did enough, and they played real strong. You know, Adebayo has not played real well offensively, but down the stretch, they tried to step up and do what they had to do. One of the keys that I thought was kind of crazy, you had Robinson that they've been playing a lot, but in Game 7, I saw where Coach Spo made sure that he put Lowry out there, which was very important because this is a veteran that has not really won a lot and has been shaky at times, but he stepped up for them, and you got to understand that. Robinson's a nice shooter and all, but hell, if we paying you all this money to shoot 2 open threes that you're supposed to hit in Game 6, and you can't hit wide open shots, what the hell are you on the squad for? It's not even about the defense. It's like, dude, that's like when you go back when with the Bulls and Jordan told Paxson or he told Kerr,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna give you that ball, you better hit that mother. That's what you do. You're a shooter. So when you don't hit those shots, it just makes you wonder. But overall, I see why Denver is the favorite. They're playing well. They're coming together. And a lot of people just don't believe in Miami. But I'm just telling you, man, the resiliency. I want to see it. I would choose Denver to be the favorite. But it's something about that dog, man. And my only thing is, I know what the Joker's going to do. The Joker is going to be fabulous. I know he's been doing it for the last 2-3 years. Murray's been, trying to step his game up this year. The reserves have been stepping up. Mm-hmm. But I want to see, are they going to continue to step up? So we know what Joker is going to do. But then again, too, when you look at I think that I want to see how Miami goes, what they do with Murray. Because I think they're going to kind of put Murray, if Butler's healthy, they're going to try to silence that. They're going to try to, more or less use it as a push. So it's like, okay, you might get yours, but I'm going to make you play some defense, and I'm playing some defense on you. And I want to see what happens. Because sometimes Murray he's a hell of a player, but that edge sometimes starts making him play a little off center a little bit. And Joker's going to be Joker. But I really want to see what the rest of their supporting cast is. What is Martin going to do for Miami as well? I think they have a shot because nobody believes it. That's why I like it. Nobody believes they're going to win. They weren't supposed to be in there in the beginning. Nobody.
Yeah, as a number 8
Nobody.
seed, no.
Yeah, and Jimmy Butler was like, I said last year we're going to do this. And Spoelstra had an amazing speech at the end of Game 6. What you gonna do to help with these guys this heartbreak? So I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm telling them we need to be here. We're gonna find a way. We're gonna find a way to win this damn game, Game 7. And y'all don't believe it, don't nobody else believe it. But damn it, I do. And we're gonna win. And they went up there and they won. So are they gonna be able to do that against Denver? I'm not sure. But when you have that much confidence and your team buys into it and you play hard, all they need is a chance. They can stay close. I mean, some people think they're going to get swept and it's going to be 5 games. If Denver is on, they possibly could do that. But when you, any sport that people play, particularly on this level, if you get all that you got and you got a guy like Jimmy Butler, if he gives you a couple games and somebody else step up, I like their chances. I ain't saying they're going to win, but I wouldn't bet against them either. I think it's that close to me. Because I think their drive and whatnot too. And as much as we talk about this, my last point is, as much as we talk about how great Denver is, you can't tell me you don't think Jimmy Butler wants this, boy. You can't tell. He was this close. He's been close before, but you can't tell me you don't think Jimmy Butler want to win this first championship. Because if he does that, it silences at least a little bit of the critics because he did it and he was the guy.
Yeah, both of you make some great points about Denver not getting the just due. One of the things that I noticed is that Murray's the key. He's been playing out of his mind in the playoffs. And I remember in the last series, they tried to put LeBron on him to clamp down the D. And LeBron was just getting ate up by Murray. And to the point where LeBron was looking at everybody else like somebody else going to get him, somebody else going to step up and get him or help me with him. And so him and Jokovic are the keys. But I like Denver's bench, their reserves, the guys that have been there. A lot of them have been in the league for a long time. We don't know too much about them. We don't read anything about them because they don't get a lot of press. But there's a team that's been doing it since December, and they seem ready to step forward and do it. It should be interesting with the altitude in Denver. And I've seen teams just get gassed in Denver, and they put the altitude right up by the foul line, 5280. To remind folks that you are you are in Denver and the air is real thin up here. And so I'm wondering, with Miami going through that 7-game series, going through the play-in, all that other stuff, will they at some point this long season wear down a little bit? Denver has been rested. It should be an interesting series. A lot of people will get to see Djokovic for the first time instead of in highlights and see how special he really is. Gordon, Porter, Murray, and all those guys back there, we saw when they got drafted and they went into no man's land in the NBA. Now they have a chance to win it all. You don't get too many chances like this. And so it should be interesting. It seems like both teams are hungry. One team is really expressing how hungry they are. The other team is just laying in the cut, just waiting for the next opponent. And it should be interesting. Any last words, Black?
I want to kind of comment on what I said, what Shaq said, man. And I when he said it, it brought me automatically back to the year the Knicks was playing the Houston Rockets, and John Starks was just firing away.
Oh my God.
And I remember watching that game saying, Pat, realistically, I was like, Pat, you got to go to John Stark and say, I don't care what Pat told you. Every time you get that ball, I better touch it. I better touch it. I don't, and that's the thing. And that's leadership on the floor, bro. So I hear Shaq say that absolutely. If you drop another 3-pointer, we'll punch you in the face. You got to say something to get to the idea, realize it's not working. We got to do something different. I love that, man. I love it. I'm not always saying I'm supportive of what Shaq says. And I sent you a video where basically Charles Barkley called LeBron out as being for the most part, being a diva after when they got swept. He want to talk about retirement, bro. I don't even think he said anything about Denver. He knew that was going to steal the attention away from Denver, but he does it every year, every time he loses. Remember when he lost to Golden State? He act like he punched the wall. It's like a little diva stuff he does, and he plays the media, and they love it. But yeah, man, I agree with. I mean, if a player's not, don't get me wrong, I'm all about encouragement, motivation, and they need to be kicked up. You pick them up, you carry them. But when they constantly screw up, it's not working. You tell them, guess what? I'm on the floor. We know what I'm for. Let's do this. If you don't, here's what you're going to get, man. That's old school, bro. Severely old school. Sometimes back in the day, you didn't have to say, you just look. You just give them a look. Some players give a certain look like, after that shot went up, you give them a look like, okay, we're not doing that again, man. That's why it just brings a smile to my face, because people still get it. They really still get it.
You said, I'll follow you myself if you put a shot up. I was watching an interview with Gary Payton. I'm going to go to the Ice next. And he was playing with Miami under Pat Riley. And Shaq was on the team. And Pat Riley would draw up some play that wasn't going inside, a jump shot, stuff like that. And Gary Payton would lead the huddle and look at Shaq like, big fella, you getting the ball. Nice last words on this, man.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think the series is going to be good because of the fact that you got two teams that's really fighting for the first time, trying to win these. You got a lot of underappreciated players on both teams, and I think that's what you really want to see. They really fight to the end. And like you said, it's just different, man. The game is different the way that it is now. You're going to see two teams that are going to work real hard. They're going to go out there, they're going to get after it defensively as well. And instead of watching guys shoot and then complain about the coach, what the coach should have done, and then you put the coach in a bad position by what he's saying. But they both won it. And like you said about what Shaq said was like, that's just, to me, should be common sense in basketball.
Yeah.
It's like back in the day, you had a guy like Maurice Lucas. Maurice Lucas would probably grab you up in your collar in the locker room, throw you up against the locker like, look, man, we trying to win. No one person is going to win this by themselves. And we have to play together as a team. And I think we get so many coaches sometimes that get so caught up in one or two players. And then when it doesn't work, they don't look for other ways to win.
Right.
Oh, Stark's gonna get on in a minute. How long are you waiting? I mean, my God, whatever it was. Well, I mean, but still, how long do you wait when you realize as a player? To me, as a player, it shows you ignorance, and it shows you how low your IQ is in basketball. If you're missing shots like that and your team is down, you still jacking up, I wouldn't go back in. Even if I couldn't hit him, you say I'm pouting, I would do it to Scottie Pippen. I ain't going in until this month stop shooting.
Oh, not a Scottie Pippen, please.
I mean, I would do it but you got to get the attention. The attention is, I'm not playing no more till he stops shooting. and you're not doing anything about it. So if I can't punch him in the face or shake him, guess what I'm doing? I'm not playing. Then y'all can go ahead. And you can call me a coward. You can call me soft, whatever. But until he gets the message, because at the end of the day, you want to win. And what's sad about it is the Knicks had enough talent to win the damn series.
Yeah.
They did. And they didn't do it because it was not smart basketball. So Knicks fans, that's real talk. That's why I get frustrated about it. If I was a Knicks fan, I'd be mad as hell because you didn't use your IQ, you weren't smart enough to win the game. You had the talent, you didn't get it done.
No, I don't know why they were relying on John Starks to shoot that. He's never been a great shooter. He was a streaky shooter at best.
At best.
Yeah, it's not like he was this shootout. He's not like he was a Ray Allen or something where you basically says, okay, go out there, Ray. We want you to shoot. You got the shot. Don't be shy. Let it, launch it. I don't understand that, but I think the mentality, like I said, with a lot of these coaches now, man, you play to your stars. You don't really get your bench involved. You don't kind of put them out there. And like you spoke earlier about when Spoelstra put the guard out there, I can't think of his name as you play with Toronto. Man, that's some. You knew he had a veteran at that moment. I'm gonna give you a chance to go out there and do what we're paying you for, what we brought you here for. Maybe you didn't done it all year, but you got a few minutes, man, to make better for it. And that's a coach to me that believes and basically knows what he has in a player. He knows, and a coach should know what he has and what buttons to push in a player. A lot of these coaches now, and that's why Milwaukee coach got fired. You just can't roll out there and all the time put your head in the chalkboard, bro. You have to know your team. And if one player is not doing it, don't be afraid to put him on the bench and do what you got to do. And that is not that I always thought he was a great coach, but this is one thing I liked about Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson would utilize his whole bench all year long. So when it came time in the playoffs, if he had to go 8, 9 deep, guess what? That 8, 9, 10 player was ready to come in and contribute because they've been used all year. And that's the thing. And even though I think he's a Hall of Fame coach, I think that's what bit Steve Kerr in the butt in the playoffs this year. He relied on 7, 8 deep. You got cats on that bench you chose not to play, that you drafted. You chose not to play. I can't think of one guy's name. The guy's a baller. Get him out there. Get him some playing time, but you can't keep relying on the same old horses to get it done. And that came back to bite him in the long run. Curry some nights he's going to give, but some nights he's not there, and you don't know what you're going to get from homeboy. I mean, the guy that's playing the forward/center role, some nights he's not going to give you anything. So I love that when coaches basically know their squad, knows their unit. That's coaching. You know who to kind of certain at a certain point. That's coaching, bro. And a lot of these coaches, they're getting paid the big dollars, but don't know how to do it. Really don't know how to do it.
I wasn't going to go here, but me and a buddy of mine, Big Sean, been arguing all weekend because of Scottie Pippen's statement that Michael Jordan was a horrible player before he stepped on to the team. And what I've been telling Big Sean, and I know he watches the show, is that Scottie Pippen, I know people in Chicago love Scottie Pippen. They think he's the top 50, top 75, top 100. Scottie Pippen was a glorified role player. His highest average when Michael Jordan left was 22 points a game. He's a role player. And I'm like, you're going to negate Michael Jordan in high school, Laney High School. You're going to negate him in North Carolina and what he did there. You're going to negate when he just put the Bulls on the map his rookie year and beyond, just doing whatever he could to get that team with lesser players on that team, the Olympic team. And now you show up. He's a horrible player. I want to give one statistic that I saw. I was looking at this stuff. In the first playoff game together when Scottie Pippen joined the team, Michael Jordan had 50 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and shot a field goal percentage of 54%. Guess how many points Pippen had that particular game with that horrible player? 6. No points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and no field goal, 0 field goal percentage. I want to give Ice a chance to respond to Scottie Pippen saying Michael Jordan is just a horrible player until I got to the Bulls.
He's bitter, man. He's bitter. I think he thought he was going to get more endorsements and more things after his career, but he kind of sidelined his own self by doing certain things. And to say that is like it's really like a slap in the face of a teacher that taught you everything that you know. Because if you notice, Jordan took him under his wing, showed him the ropes. So then when it was time for him to step up, for his confidence as well, to get him ready so he could help them win those titles. But like you said, Jordan stood up on his own prior before Scottie got there. And we know what Scotty has been about afterwards. I still to this day say when you play with Portland, you play with a team that clearly, in my opinion, should have taken down Shaq and Kobe. They were loaded in Portland. All they needed was a little strength, a little guidance from a veteran that's played with the greatest of all time. Many people say with Jordan, and you won 6 rings. Well, how many rings you won, Scotty? This is when you're supposed to step up and lead the rest of the team through your veteran leadership. They couldn't find you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't find you. So now you want to say Jordan is garbage and trash? Man, you just sound like sour grapes, and you still probably mad anyway, allegedly, that his son is tapping your ex-wife. Ooh.
Black?
I'm glad Ice ended with that because you hit a legend. I just heard that recently, and I'll say this, man. I'm going to say this first. Whenever you're bitter about somebody doing something that's not yours, bro, you're wrong off the start, man. As a man, it ain't never yours, buddy. It wasn't yours when you married her. I'm just telling you like that. When you married her, that's when you lost your head because she was younger, and for whatever reason, I think she might have played you, and that goes there. But I'm gonna say this, man. Anybody that can come out, it's got to be pure bitterness. To come out and call him a horrible basketball player, bro. So you want us to basically, people that watch Michael Jordan before you came to Chicago, realistically, look at that and just go, what we saw was what we saw. You really, so that's really you want to play with our intelligence and go where, he might have made 1 point and said Michael had to get a team around. I agree with that. But a horrible player, man, to take a stab at him. And it's part of it too, because Michael, for the most part, when I look at Michael Jordan is a selfish son of a gun. It is what it is. And he hasn't really been a friend or lend himself to anyone, as far as ex-players, as far as I'm concerned, since he stopped playing. So I think Scotty over the years felt like too, Michael could have came back and help him out in certain areas. He could have been there for whatever the case may be. That's not who Michael is. He's a selfish son of a bitch. Let's just call it what it is, bro. Michael cares about nothing but his bottom line, himself, and that's it. So if you were with him for all those years and won those championships, you don't understand that? I can see that from a distance. So to come out now and sound like an absolute bum idiot, to say something that's stupid, I guess you thought, it was going to move the needles and people look at it, whatever the case may be, but not really. But Scott, let's just look at yourself for a second. They put you on ESPN to commentate. You talk like a lizard. What was going on with you, bro? Why didn't you go get help and do something? You had opportunities off the court that you could not manifest. So I'm looking at you like, what the hell's wrong with you? Because if I got to step on another man to pull myself up, I got the problem, not him. You have the problem, boss. And I remember point blank when you came to Chicago, the word, and it was a silent word through the NBA, you can punk Scottie Pippen. And it was done numerous times when you played the New York Knicks. You can punk Scottie Pippen. Michael had to come to your defense and give you a pair, boss. So I'm just saying, man, I don't get it. So you can't go back and act like I didn't see what I see. What I know is I know. Because your name wouldn't even be known if you didn't come to the Chicago Bulls and play with Michael Jordan. You wouldn't even exist in the NBA archives. Scotty, who? Who? Bro, let's get real. No one talks about you for a reason. There's no reason to talk about you.
Yeah, he's trying to stay relevant. He can't stay relevant. And my thing is, you didn't get it done in Houston. You didn't get it done in Portland. You didn't get it done with the Bulls. So to me, you will always go down in history as a glorified role player with the Bulls. Michael was the show. You were the role player. Let's go to NFL news. DeAndre Hopkins, Black. He's had some of the most worst luck in picking NFL teams. He was with Houston. Him and the coach didn't get along. The coach made some derogatory terms about, his lifestyle, stuff like that. He gets out of Houston, goes to the Cardinals. And we thought when he went to the Cardinals, oh, this is it. This is it. They're Super Bowl bound. Cardinals was kicking ass during that season. Then he gets hurt. Then he comes back after he gets hurt. And the Cardinals haven't been able to recover since. And then he says, hey, I want a stable organization. I want to play for that. I want to play for a quarterback that loves the game. And the following week, he gets bounced out of there. Is it DeAndre Hopkins or is it the organizations that he's playing for?
I think it's a combination of both. I really do. I think it's a combination. I mean, we saw what happened to him, and there was no reason for what took place in Houston for it to take place. You had a football coach that swindled the owner into making him become the general manager, and he had no idea what he was doing. And that's the case. Lawrence Taylor would not be in the Hall of Fame. Let's get real. If you wanted to like somebody based on what they did off the field, I'm thinking of Bill Parcells. I can't think of the general manager that the Giants had back then. They would have more reasons to get Lawrence Taylor the hell out of New York years ago. Lawrence Taylor tells stories now. He was high as a kite by the time he was sacking people
during the game. Yeah.
Yes, you don't think they knew that? But when the clock started ticking, Lawrence Taylor did what they needed him to do. And there you go. So I say this even with I've said this years ago with my current job. People complain about people. You ain't gotta like somebody, you just gotta work with them. You ain't gotta love them. You ain't gotta take them home. You ain't gotta marry them. You ain't gotta do none of that. But if they're doing with the service the job that needs to be done, they're doing it exceptionally well. Guess what? That's what you work with. So that was a problem. And basically, to me, when he was in Houston, this problem here, I guess in a way, he kind of talked himself out of a situation. But I think what happens with him, let's not get wrong. If I'm correct, he did get popped for steroids a little while ago. That just happened. We kind of forget about it. I think even some 6 games for steroids, I would assume. And if I remember correctly. But when a team says to you, I don't care who they are, when a team says, I want to release you and take a $22 million cap hit, bro, there's something up with you. That's more than saying I want to play for this and that, whatever the case may be. That's more than that, bro. So something going on. And if you notice, they tried to trade him. They tried to trade him. They couldn't trade him. He's been available for a week now. Who signed him? He's coming out of this list. I want to play for this one, bro. If you're that good, the moment they release you, within 24 hours, somebody, you should have been on a uniform somewhere. It's going on a week. Who's come to call for him? Oh, I want to play here. I want to play here. So something that cat's doing that we're just not. I don't believe we're up front with, because again, if you're going to release him and says, really, I'll take the $23 million hit. I just don't want you on this camp. I don't want you part of this organization anymore. That's not saying I want to play for this, I want to play for that, bro. There's more to it, man. He has shown his ass in some ways that they just got tired of it. They can't deal with it anymore. And even though it's a big league, it's a small league. And that's why no one has come to rush to kind of scoop him up. Because hell of a talent. When he's out in the field, when he's not hurt, hell of a talent.
Ice, is it DeAndre Hopkins or is the organizations that he's playing for?
Well, a damn show was Houston. It was definitely Houston. Arizona might be up for debate, but definitely Houston. So when the coach / GM, whatever, doesn't like how somebody's lifestyle because he got too many baby mamas. I mean, really? That's part of life. And you don't know how a person grew up and what they do. I'm not excusing how he went about his business, but you catching the ball on Sunday and you're not late because you babysitting, I give less than a damn what's going on. As long as you ain't hurt nobody, whatever. And I think Houston totally blew that. But when he went to Arizona, it was supposed to work out, and your little dude, the quarterback, everything's supposed to work out there too. I find it ironic that the quarterback has not really been vocal whatsoever when it came to DeAndre Hopkins. Not at all. And part of that makes me wonder if they're like, well, we were going to think about getting rid of you, but now, talking about the quarterback, but now we just decided we're going to just hold on to you because you're part of our future and what we're going to do, going to build upon. Maybe he's like, don't bring that dude back. If you bring him back here, I'm going to go play baseball. I'm not saying it's his fault because he does not make the decisions, but I find it very ironic that your star quarterback has not said one thing about DeAndre Hopkins. So Arizona could have been a combination because he was not out there. And, when he mentioned about possibly getting popped for allegedly with steroids or something, he's always into something. And some people just don't do well with idle time. And I don't know why that was. I mean, you just go to the gym or whatever, but I don't know. It could, and right now it does sound like something's going on with him. But he's a hell of a talent, as was said. I think as the season moves forward and whatnot, and that price keeps dropping a little bit, somebody gonna pick that dude up, bro. Unless he just so much of a head case, because there's a lot of teams that can use it. First, I thought about Baltimore, but then they already got a headache.
Yeah.
So they don't need another headache over there like that. It would be nice to put them both out there, but you know how that goes. Somebody would be complaining. The other one, which would be crazy, and nobody want to hear this because they're like, it's Cleveland. You ain't got nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose. They already coming for you. They got the women out there protesting. They saying horrible, but you notice that was a hell of a combination in Houston when he played. So guess what? Let's try to bring that magic back again, because you really ain't finding nobody else over there. Is Amari Cooper better than DeAndre Hopkins?
No,
I think not. So as long as you can keep everybody on their counseling appointments and keep them away from certain bad things, you can win a football game. Michael Irvin. Anyway, allegedly. But I'm just saying. Hey, you gotta know who the people are. KYP, you gotta know your personnel.
Yeah.
You gotta know your personnel. And if you do that, you might win some ball games. And as much as Cleveland talk about this and Deshaun Watson, if they start winning games, let Cleveland go to the Super Bowl this year. All of these naysayers and I can't believe it is after these women, they're gonna be like, we're going to the damn Super Bowl. Because they fans. That's what they do, man. People want to win so bad. And when you've been around teams that have won, you get it. That's why people like, oh man,
that's pretty desperate. That's pretty desperate at that.
I mean, what you mean? It's desperate. Oh.
Yeah, it is, because you got to wake up the child support court in Cleveland with DeAndre Hopkins, the police.
Let's come on. we have not heard it, but let me just say,
you got to keep a close watch on that team.
Wait a minute.
Get together.
Let me say this. Is it desperate? I can hear you saying that, but from what we know, he ain't beat nobody up. He ain't for no issue. I'm just saying he got an issue with he got to pay some child support. Might have a little issue with a little extra amphetamine or something like that too. But if you keep him on his meds, if you keep him on counseling, he can probably give you a hell of a run on Sunday. And now it's a redemption tour because he's trying to redeem himself. And Deshaun Watson trying to, and you get his boy back, man. What? I mean, why not? You already in the boat, Cleveland. Hell, let's put another one in the boat. It can't get no worse. And if you win, then everybody gonna tell you how great you are. So why not put another person in the boat? You already went down the stream, merrily.
Yeah.
Might put another dude in it, because if that might turn around, I'm telling you, if you can keep the so-called bad or shaky dudes on point, they can deliver. I'm telling you, I'm a former or not even former, but I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, and that damn Michael Irvin had issues off and on, allegedly, all the time. But when he was on the field and he got right and put him in right position where he could humble himself, he was the damn playmaker. And I want to thank him for those Super Bowls. That's what I'm trying to say. It's possible.
Yeah, because I remember the Cincinnati Bengals had the police blotters all filled out. With that team. Now Cleveland gonna be that team. Oh man, it will be interesting if Cleveland kind of bite the bullet and like, listen, we got to get this guy, and he ends up in Cleveland. But yeah, this is interesting, man. Football is becoming a soap opera. Black, you got anything to say about guys? Look like you were chopping at the bit to say something.
No, I mean, from a talent perspective, it would work. I think it would work, but I think that's like doing a grenade in Cleveland, bro. Because I honestly think this year you're going to see Watson's not worth it. And I really do. I think you're going to kind of see that deal they did for Watson. I know last year you kind of got to throw out because he didn't make the whole season. But I think something where, and I'm not taking away from his talent when I say this, I think the time he spent off the field hurt him, bro. Big time. And that 230 he's getting, good luck to him, because they're not going to get any benefit from that, in my opinion. So if you bring him out there and Watson is not kicking, it's even worse. And I will say this about this cat too, man. It's funny because you remember the cat that had the problem with marijuana, and he would go away every now and then. They kept letting him come back. He kept getting signed. And you look at this cat here, I say it again, nobody's touching him. And it's almost seeming to where at some point, it might be a little secret about him saying don't touch him from the NFL.
Yeah.
Because we believe not. We know the NFL can they do a little blackballing from time to time. They ain't against them to say, you know what I mean? So this cat done some things. You know, I don't think they care about the baby mama drama, but the steroid stuff, I think that's what NFL don't want to be associated with at all. We know it probably goes on, but I think that's what they might be saying. You know what? Think twice before you bring him in. Think twice.
You just segued into the next topic with Le'Veon Bell. They said he was petty during the holdout with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He wants to retire as a Pittsburgh Steelers. He talked about smoking weed. He needed to be a little bit zooted to get on the field. I'm going to let Black hold on to this because I'm waiting for a rant with this. I'm going to go with Ice with this first because something told me, I mean, I was finally convinced that this guy was bad news when he got on a Super Bowl caliber team with the Kansas City Chiefs and he couldn't get on the field. And they knew it and they released him soon after. I mean, he would have been perfect in that offense. He just couldn't get it going. And that's when I knew there's something with this guy. It's just not him just saying people are treating him unfairly. They're not giving him a chance. Andy Reid knew that this wasn't the guy, and they released him. Ice?
Well, I know they're going to come for me, so I'm going to put it out there like I'm going after it. So the purest and the most technically sound and the most developmental type franchise in the Pittsburgh Steelers
There we go.
That was getting high on the field and no one knew about it. See, I find, and now he comes out and says it's kind of trying to be relevant because he knows his career is over. But it's ironic now that my point of it is it just shows you that things happen on all kind of teams. There are chinks in armor and all kind of stuff. And some things get either pushed to the side or they're not brought up or swept under the rug because we're still productive. And I said that earlier. When you're winning, you find ways to hide stuff. You mean to tell me nobody knew Le'Veon Bell was getting high? How many times did Pittsburgh try to bring that dude back and try to work with him even when he set out? They did everything under the sun to try to keep this guy till they had to just let him go. They did everything they could. So you mean to tell me at some point it didn't cross their mind to go, he won't even want to come back. He probably get high because he ain't in shape, whatever. But it just showed you that even one of the greatest franchises in football had an issue, had a guy who had an issue. But it shows you again, like I told you before, and I get this will be my last point on this. When the whole Deshaun Watson thing came down with all of the women and all this other stuff and everything too, and then come to find out that not only did Deshaun Watson have to pay the women, but the NFL paid them because they probably went back and said, damn, this probably just ain't happening in Houston. This probably happened around the league. So see, while you think that, it's just one team, nah, bro. Trying to tell you, they know we're gonna shut this down, and you ain't heard nothing else from the women because they got double the money. And I ain't trying to be funny; they had the right to do what they want to, but all of a sudden, the shield is back on top and it's clean because they like hell. They was gonna give me $25 million, and the NFL gonna give me a $25 million. I ain't saying a damn thing because I'm paid. Money talk, boys walk. That's all I'm gonna say.
Black, I think he could. That ship has sailed as far as retiring as a Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers want anything to do with them. I think he's trying to get in good graces. But your thoughts on this? Stay tuned. This is the Black Thor rant. Black Thor rant. Black Thor rant.
Before I even really digest this, I thought I heard this. I want to be sure I heard this correctly. He was getting high in the field, or he was getting high before the game?
He was getting high when he could get high. So, going on the field high, he was getting high when he was holding out.
Yeah. So, I'm amazed with this cat here, man, because I remember, you think about that team when he was really with the Steelers, how strong they were. You think about the receiving core. I think if I'm mistaken, Antonio Brown was just starting to come around. Mm-hmm. They was really starting to click. And my thing is, if you had an organization such as the Pittsburgh Steelers, which looked the other way while you were getting high, then why were you holding out? What reason? Because we all know you was getting high. You tested positive twice, if I remember correctly. Twice. So you got mad at a team that was allowing you to be yourself, and you decided to leave from them instead of a whole year? Bruh, that's beyond stupid as far as I'm concerned. That's like, I mean, realistically, that's like being a woman say, yeah, go on out, here's a hall pass. Go on out on the weekend, do what you want to do. I'll be here on Monday waiting. We ain't gonna talk about nothing. Tell me what you want for breakfast. We ain't gonna talk about I don't get it. And I remember when he came to New York, I remember this distinctively. This cat came to New York. There was a home game. They were supposed to have a Saturday night practice. He's somewhere playing a bowling on a Saturday night. Didn't even show up for practice, nothing. So it's like, now you want to talk about, you want to retire what? You had no career worth retiring. What career you worth retiring, bro? And like I said, when you went to Kansas City, man, if you could have just got 3 yards, you'd have a Super Bowl ring on your finger. On your finger. So you took all that BS you did all with Pittsburgh, who tolerated, by the way. And I'm not mad at Pittsburgh for tolerating. And here again, like I said earlier, if you're going to deliver, you know what? They look the other way. You chose to sit out, lose a lot of money in 1 year. So you can do what? Get high. Go on and get high. Go ahead. You'll make it back up. I guess you were thinking that when you was high. Now, all of a sudden, you want to go back to a team that you basically pissed on, in my opinion, and say, guess what? Give me a day to retire my number. Bro, you know Franco Harris. You know Rocky Blyer. You're none of them, bro. You're not even close. So what do they care? Why should ownership basically treat you like anything? I mean, this cat I don't know what drugs he's smoking, but he need to switch up a brand, bro. Because he just don't understand. He just don't get it. Really don't get it. And what a lot of NFL players understand for the most part too, yeah, you out there, you're doing your thing, but at the end of the day, this is a business, bro. It's a business. And when you make business look bad and you cost them money, they don't care about you anymore. As long as they can make money off you, yeah, they tolerate, and they did that. And you wasn't even smart enough to understand that. It's not smart enough. I say this real quick and I'll get it. I remember when Ray Rice basically had his stuff going on. The owner, the same owner that didn't want to pay Lamar Jackson, said to Ray Rice, when the NFL decided they were going to suspend him after they, saw the video, he emailed him and said, hey, Ray, do me a favor. I'll take the word do me a favor because I can't swear he said that. He said, take her, go somewhere, go on a vacation. When this all dies down, come back. I'll give you a job in an organization. You'll be a Ravens for life. For life. In writing, bro. We appreciate what you did for us. Go away. Let it die down. This dumb motherfucker takes the email and take it to the press. I can't be that bad. Are you kidding me? You could have been working in the Ravens office right now. Who knows at what potential? What? So I'm sorry, bro. And he wasn't smoking herb to my imagine. At some point, it's just flat out jock ignorance. Ignorance, bro. And that's what they are. A lot of them ignorant. And trust me, this cat right here, beyond ignorant. Beyond.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have turned a blind eye to a lot of players, especially Ben Roethlisberger, allegedly around the high school, dealing with high school chicks and all that other stuff. So their organization that is, they say the standard, but when you have talent, they'll let you get away with some stuff. So they're not above reproach when it comes to that. But I just can't see this guy doing anything to really kind of get in the good grace of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That'd be like Antonio Brown trying to come to the Steelers saying he wants to retire. It ain't going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Let's go to the Major League Baseball report. And my Yankees are 7-3 in the last 10. Just hate us, baby. Just hate us. You know it's coming. You know it's coming. You know it's coming.
So I just want to know, I want y'all to go back to look at the first taste when somebody was whining and crying with the cheese and everything, talking about they were frustrated by their team and even last year. But now all of a sudden they're feeling really good. They're 7-3. But you should be because they spent a lot of money. And they're right there. Anyway. Just hate us. I get it. Yeah, you're right. Just hate you because you spend all the money and then you're supposed to be better. And when you don't win it, oh, shucks, we'll just grab some more money and buy it up again. So, yeah, okay. American League East. Tampa Bay leads that division over Baltimore by 3.5 games. The pseudo champion Yankees are 5.5 back, making their move 7-3 in the last 10, as I said before. And Boston is somewhere behind them. Moving over to the Central in the American League, Minnesota leaves Detroit. Detroit's only a game and a half back. Can you believe that?
And under 500.
under 500, but that's another story for another sad division I'll talk about soon. Cleveland's 3.5 back. Woe is me in Cleveland. In the West, Texas is still leading that division, leading Houston by 2.5 games. Angels still hanging around a little bit, 6 games out. And I don't know what Shohei Ohtani has to do, man. Just an amazing player, just kind of wasting out there with the Angels. In the NL East, Atlanta leads that division over Miami by 4.5 games. The Mets are 4.5 games back as well. Could be interesting there. But here we go. You talk about under 500. In the Central Division, Milwaukee leads that division by 1 game over Pittsburgh. Milwaukee's only 2 games above 500. And lead Pittsburgh by one game. The woeful Reds are only 3 games out. We got to make it happen, baby. In this division. The other 2 teams in the division are only 4.5 back, St. Louis and the Cubs. Anybody's ball game right now. Wow, unbelievable. Under 500, close to under 500, just a little bit over 500. And in the West, LA Dodgers continue to win, and they're in first place. Arizona's 1.5 games back. San Francisco somewhere back there, doesn't even really matter. But again, we're looking at possibly down the line. Everybody's looking at the Yankees and looking at the Dodgers. Just because I hope Tampa Bay at least makes the playoff as a wild card, because I think that with the pitching and the small market value, they find ways to win. They're a very good team to watch, and they use their talents well. So we'll see what happens. We still have a lot more time to go, but right now we keep coming back to that as we see Puma with his glorified Yankee wear as usual, and we'll continue to keep an eye on things. As the Yankees say, just hate us. Of course, they hate you because you keep spending money anyway. The rich get richer.
Thank you for that report. The WNBA report with Black Thor. You got 4 top teams. You got Las Vegas, Connecticut, Dallas, and New York. What's your report, man?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna say this first before I even get to that, because the numbers of viewers are up. Hopefully it stays up, but the number of viewers are basically tuning in and watching up. Maybe what happened with college basketball is kind of leaning over a little bit to the WNBA. If that is the case, beautiful. Hopefully we can ride up for the whole entire season. There are more outlets too. They're on ION on Friday nights. And surprisingly, man, I saw them on CBS. I watched the game between New York Liberty and the Connecticut Sun Saturday afternoon, 1:00 on CBS. I was blown away, bro. Blown away. And that game was I think it was in Brooklyn. It was well suited to. A lot of people were there. The stands were basically full. I was impressed. And when you go to the standings, like you said, the Vegas, Connecticut, New York Liberty, Dallas, basically the top 4. Chicago's kind of hanging around with top 5. But when I look at the style of play, I'm impressed with Connecticut some, because they lost Jarquil Jones, but they're still finding a way to kind of battle. But I think as time go on, they're going to fall down. And I think even as early in this season, it's going to be a 2-horse race, man. Vegas is just too stacked, too strong, bro. With Candace Parker, it's not going to get pretty. I mean, it's not going to be pretty. And you look at the Liberty with Brandon Stewart. I mean, they're just Jarquil Jones. They're starting to find their way and starting to find their groove. So once they get where they are, it's going to be between Vegas and the Aces and the Sun when it comes down to it, in my opinion. And the rest is sad for the league in a sense, because the rest of the league, man, it's like it's not there. It's not there. So we kind of see what you want to call that free agency. I know Brianna still went back to Seattle and played a game. And you were saying earlier, or one time before, that the fans didn't kind of come out. I'm not surprised, bro. I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all, because WNBA is not used to seeing that in a sense. We see that in the NBA where players kind of move around, but the WNBA, you kind of basically, you're somewhere for 10, 15 years, and the fans kind of grow to love you. Now, to see in another uniform, another city playing, that can't feel good, bro. That just can't feel good. So I'm not surprised it didn't come out. But yeah, man, they're rolling with increased viewers. They said social media is really active for them. So I know it's just a start, but if they can carry this all season, they're going to be able to do some really good things this year.
All right. Let's go to questions from the squad. Ice, what's your first question?
Yeah, we had 2 major hirings in the NBA recently. Nick Nurse is in Philadelphia, and Mr. Griffin leaves Toronto. to head to handle the land of good and plenty with Milwaukee. Your thoughts?
Like,
I like the Milwaukee hiring. I do. I think Milwaukee has some big decisions to make inside of their far as players, personnel. I wouldn't, I think Middleton is up for a contract. I wouldn't resign him. I'll be honest with you. I like Middleton. I think he gave him what he can give them. I wouldn't resign him. I wouldn't resign Lopez. But then again, you have to kind of do what the Greek freak at this point kind of really wants. So if he wants them back and want to try again, do what you have to do. But I think the head coach is going to be a good fresh air for them, and he can come in and do some things. The 76ers hiring, I think they rushed and jumped the gun. I got nothing against Nurse, but that team that he left in Toronto is not a bad team, bro. And he could not get them to kind of just move around, do some things. Now you come to a team that's basically out of sync, a player that you don't know how he's going to play next year because he won the MVP this year. I don't think he's hungry to win a championship. And then you got a player that may not stick in. If he does stick in, we know what he does, Harden. So I think that they could have basically done their homework. Philly, I'm speaking of, nothing against Nick Nurse and got a better head coach coming to coach those guys. I don't think they're going to buy into him. I just don't believe Harden will buy in. I don't feel it. I don't see it. I don't think it's going to happen. So that's how I feel about that hiring.
Yeah, I don't like the retreads in the coaching. You leave one team and you're right back with another team. And what are you going to do that's different? Yeah. And the talent there may or may not be there. The motivation may not be there. So what are you going to bring to the table that, the previous coach didn't bring to the table? I think sometimes it's player and personnel that you need the right mix of that. And I don't know. I like the hire in Milwaukee. I would like the NBA to do something different, and the NFL too. Hire people that that deserve a shot and that are hungry and that want to come in here and do a good job instead of retreading these old coaches that didn't do much with the last team, and you're expecting a miracle when you bring them over to the team you have with little to no talent or not as much talent as they left. So I don't know what it seems like. It's a buddy system with the NBA. I know this guy's, my buddy. I know he'll come in and do real well. So your buddy gets the job. So it just seems that way to me. But I'm very happy with the Milwaukee coach. We'll see how it goes and whether or not they can hold that team together. There's some rumors that a Greek freak is looking at other places to go. So we'll see. Ice?
The Milwaukee job, I thought was spot on because Griffin's come from Toronto. I'm surprised that they really didn't look at him. I think they looked at him a little bit, but he got an opportunity like Milwaukee. You wouldn't take that with the Greek freak, even with the Middleton situation. Even if you don't, maybe you don't sign Lopez and you're still trying to wait to bring Middleton back if he's healthy. And they had a lot of solid, they made a lot of solid moves. Not sure what the contract status some of those guys are, but they made a lot of solid moves during the season. So maybe they can work something out. And I think Griffin comes in excited, ready to appreciate the talent that they have and find a way to make it work. Because it's not, you don't have to do a lot. I don't think you have to do a lot. You don't really have to really tweak a lot unless something is going on behind the scenes. And I think he's the guy for the job because he has nothing to lose. You don't hear a lot of big time player trying to come in here what he was or whatever. He's straight trying to just be the coach and make sure these guys put them back on the winning path towards a championship. Nick Nurse, like you said, if he had trouble in Toronto, what you gonna do in Philadelphia? You mentioned earlier that James Harden might be leaving, going back to Houston to handle his affairs when he's not on the court, and live the lifestyle of an international man of leisure. So it means he's just not trying to win. But the one thing that kind of got me, that kind of turned my head when I heard this is the fact that the one thing Nick Nurse is supposedly known for is defense. Okay, so you might get that out of Embiid, but are you gonna get that out of James Harden? And if you lose James Harden, who are you gonna replace him with? So you really put Nick Nurse. You bought into it. They didn't make you take the job. I know you took Embiid, but what else you gonna do? If James Harden leaves and they can't fill that role, and if Harden stays, you're not gonna play no defense. You're not playing any defense. So they must talk real good to you. You do know too, to get off this point. The money, yeah, I get that. But you do know they boo real well in Philadelphia, don't you? They boo Santa Claus. So
Bring your Santa Claus suit.
yeah, can you handle that? And like I said, and Embiid, one thing about Embiid, finally got your MVP. Now what? Now what? Ironically, got your MVP, looking real good, complaining all the time. It must be very tough to watch Jimmy Butler play for the second time in the finals. Then you at the house with your MVP trophy. That gotta just be eating you up inside. It'd be killing me right now. I'm like, if I had Jimmy, I should have just been quiet and just let him teach me. But no, I gotta have the ball, and I gotta be the guy. I gotta be the MVP. So you are now the MVP, my brother, and you at the house. Oh no, you in Cancun. That's right. Wherever you at, you somewhere. You're not playing basketball.
Black.
Yeah, I'm still with the NBA because I think I said a week ago or 2 weeks ago where they're just cutting like a machete, man. When the Golden State Warriors basically buy to the general manager, what's going on? Because if you think about it, they won it a year ago. They were close this year. How now do you change general managers? I mean, that's the question that I have in a sense. It's not like, they've been bums for years. It's like, well, all of a sudden now the owner decides you got to go.
I think that it might have been the general manager that decided to walk away, and I tell you why. What they went, they went to the conference final. They won 4 championships and went to the conference final 6 times, and they won 4 championships. What else can you do? A lot of things are changed. Of course, they tried to get things right. Draymond Green is probably going to leave now, particularly with this guy leaving, and the writing might be on the wall for the GM and general manager. It's like, can we keep pushing the button, keep turning it on with the same players? And do I want to be around to watch this again? We had a hell of a run. I even brought in Kevin Durant. Everybody hated me for it, but damn it, we won another title. So he's like, maybe I just need to take a break, chill out, let them figure that out, go somewhere else, or maybe just take a break for a little bit and decide what I want to do. And you can't blame him. That's 4 championships, bro. And maybe just need a break. I bet you, I'm willing to bet this, that I don't see the owner saying it's time for a change. I don't see that. Why would you? You won the championship, what was it, last year? Last year? Nobody expected you to. Nobody expected you to win with Curry and the way that they did what they did. So why would you want that guy to leave? But he did.
I think he sees something coming down the pike that he doesn't want to be a part of. I think there are going to be some changes with the Golden State Warriors. I don't see Draymond Green being there anytime longer. And because he's been hitting around trying to play with LeBron, he's been buddying up with LeBron. Maybe he goes to the Lakers. I don't know, but I think he sees some things going down the pike. I was watching an interview with him, and he's very close to the players, and he said that's kind of like a fault of his, getting close to players, and people kind of criticizing why are you getting close to players when you have to trade them sometimes. And I think that's going to really kind of pull out his heartstrings, and that he sees things coming down the pike in the direction the organization wants to go, and he doesn't want any part of that. He doesn't want to be there to hurt anybody, hurt some of the players that he's very close to. It may be Clay. It may be some valuable player that they have that he doesn't want to say goodbye to and then maybe be blamed for later. So I think he sees the handwriting on the wall. And again, I think Ice is right. He sees that, what else can I do with this organization? This is a great ride. So let me, enjoy the spoils of the victories and the things that I've done in this league. And maybe another position will pop up where he can take advantage of and do it all over again. Black?
Yeah, it's interesting. You guys bring a very good perspective that I wasn't thinking about. I thought about as an owner in a sense. All right, I thought about too that some of his draft picks really didn't make it to the court, man. You think about that. Who would stop them from getting to the court? Steve Kerr. I mean, you look at Wiseman. He was heralded to be, where's Wiseman now? There's another cat, Kamunga, I think it is. You don't see him out there. Steve Kerr, for whatever reason, maybe they weren't playing up to their abilities or the abilities he thought they were. A lot of his draft picks did not make it onto the floor. So yeah, I can see that perspective. I can understand that, and I hope that is the case. that he's done all he really can do. You can kind of move on. But I would accept that and like that better than the owner basically saying, you know, it's time to move on a different direction, because here's a cat that did what he did an awesome job. And I don't understand at this point now why you would have rushed him out. So I like that perspective better, and I'm gonna ride with that one.
All right, last second shot, Ice.
Yeah, I was looking at something from time to time. I look at job boards just in case somebody might need me or something to that effect. And I used to try to be a basketball coach a little bit, know a little bit about basketball over the years. So I'm looking at this job board, and the job board says they're applying, they need an assistant coach for men's basketball. And the job says that you are in charge of the student assistant coaches, student workers, and the scorekeepers, and some other tasks, whatever the head coach wants you to do. Like, okay, no problem with that. I'll look at it. And then they say, well, you're supposed to work as assistant coach 10-month period, part-time position, not to exceed 19 hours a week. Okay, got that. And this is at Gordon State College in Pennsylvania. Okay, State College, Penn State. Then we get to the point where they say, all right, with the minimum qualification, and okay, degree, had some coaching experience. I said, all right, I think I might be moving to Pennsylvania. And it gets down to the real deal. It says, and I hope it's a typo, the minimum salary is, the salary is $8.25 an hour. Really? Really? Thank you.
Oh.
Black don't deserve any commentary.
Oh man, you know what's interesting? I saw this and I was like, man, Tom Brady getting part ownership of the LA Raiders. And I'm like, wow, that's nice. That's nice. Kraft wouldn't give it to him, of course. That's nice. The team that you basically beat with the Tuck rule decides to give him part ownership. That's nice. So I say to myself, realistically, I would like to see more NFL players try to consider something and think about it. I remember, a few weeks ago, we had Lamar Jackson with no agent. Look what happened to him. Some of us thought that it wasn't worth it. Sometimes, man, you got to walk a different path to get better gains.
I'm going to do this last second shot with the Tom Brady situation, because Garofalo is hurt. And they're talking about Tom Brady coming in and playing quarterback. Folks, stop it. Stop it. If you own the team, you can't play. Stop with the pipe dream that Tom Brady's going to come back with the Raiders and play. The only way that Tom gets to play is that all the owners agree that he can play. And I don't think all the owners in the NFL want to see Tom Brady play again and beat them and get all this glory for being Tom Brady. So when you own a team, it was the same thing with Magic Johnson. When Magic Johnson owned part of the Lakers and he gave up that ownership to come back and play, you cannot own and play at the same time. Relax yourself, fans. We'll see you next time.